time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So there was another part to Sparrow's scoop, and I wanted to get into it because it's interesting. Now, Disney's never going to say any of this publicly, but they lost subscribers due to the Acolyte's presence and the fans, the backlash against it. People were leaving in droves. Yes, it did. Disney Plus did post its first ever profit. Okay, doesn't matter. You got to keep subscribers. Now, this has been going around Disney. This has been going around Lucasfilm, and we've talked about just how bad the Acolyte is ad nauseum. And I wanted to bring this up because it's interesting. I would say it's going to have ramifications for Disney Plus on down the line if they don't do something about it. It appears that Lucasfilm insiders want it off Disney Plus, and people at Disney want it off Disney Plus. But the problem is, who are the backers, and why is Bob Iger so scared to take it off? Now, look, it took months to remove Willow, right? So, we can look at it. Is he afraid of, the 3-digit or 3-letter anagram coming after him? Is he afraid of those backers? Is he afraid of, now the things that are going on in England right now, arrested for posting memes that oppose to illegal immigration and rape of the native population of Britain, calling people who are concerned about letting their daughters walk down the street racists when they're being preyed on. George Orwell's 1984 is alive and well in England. I wouldn't go to London if somebody paid me $1 million. Free speech is not protected there anymore. But rapists, murderers, people who wield machetes at white folk are protected because they're brown. The two-tier justice system. I can see the alphabet, the 3-letter things that they've got going on over there, being part of this, okay? Being part of this. And so it doesn't surprise me. Now, what could be being held over Iger's head? Tax rebates? The inability to make TV shows and movies in England? I say, cool. Awesome. We'll just do it in Georgia. Build a volume stage in Atlanta. Fuck you. Okay, or hell, build a volume stage in Las Vegas. Okay. This is the problem. If the show is dragging all of Disney Plus down because the contagion went everywhere. It was literally the lowest rated streaming show I think Disney put out. It's now fan audience, our Rotten Tomato score is 18%. That's not good. It's probably lower than that, but they're too afraid to show it. But I do think it has more to do with having the ability to make movies and things like that in England. You know, the tax write-offs, tax rebates, blah, blah, blah. It's probably why Jon Favreau prefers to film in California and in Atlanta when he has a chance. Me? Hell, I go to Australia or New Zealand and film. I mean, you know, but of course, what are their free speech laws like? You know, it really is time for people to take a good hard look at the way certain governments are behaving towards our own people and act accordingly. Don't go to London. Don't tour the castles. The biggest industry Britain has is tourism. Okay? It's not, you know, they make billions and billions and billions of dollars on it. And I think maybe now they need a hard lesson of what happens when you victimize your own people and force violent third world weirdos down their throats. And, you know, you got to think about what would the ramifications be when, I don't think if Iger does it, but when Iger does it, he pulls the plug on the Acolyte and it's off of Disney+. Now, we could see this. We could see Iger's replacement as CEO take it off of Disney+. Because if they have any leverage over Iger, it might not extend to the new CEO. And if it doesn't, I should say, it'll be gone, the Acolyte. They'll just they'll memory hole it. And honestly, I think a decision's going to have to be made. Because if they've lost subscribers to Disney Plus over the Acolyte, then there's problems going on. Okay? And let's talk more.
This is Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen. With the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force. Do not return to the temple. That time has passed. And our future is uncertain. We will each be challenged. Our trust, our faith, our friendships. But we must persevere. And in time, a new hope will emerge. May the Force be with you, always.
So, they want to remove the Acolyte, and I think Lucasfilm itself is kind of hoping to do that. Disney wants to. Iger's afraid to. I think it has something to do with tax incentives, and shady people in the British government said, well, if you take away our PSYOP from Disney Plus, well, you're not going to get your tax incentives. I think that's what's going on here. Maybe they have some other egregious things Iger's done, but honestly, I don't think so. If you've noticed, Leslie Headland kind of has disappeared. Or she'll probably show up on some Wired podcast, or some lunatic channel like Mary Sue again. But as far as the show going forward, even if they give it tentatively a season 2, they don't necessarily have to film it. They don't necessarily have to go on with it. Okay, and I would just say, let it sit in development hell, and just put it out there to the shill YouTube channels and the sites. Don't talk about it anymore. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I really think that would be the only way that they could actually kind of get around it, and then remove the Acolyte from Disney Plus, just like they did Willow. Now, Iger removed Willow from Disney Plus to punish Kennedy. Okay. And it was pretty brutal. It happened while they were sitting down to watch Indiana Jones on the Dial of Destiny at the Cannes Film Festival. So is there, and her email's going off saying they've removed Willow from Disney Plus. You got to understand, The Acolyte is 10 times worse for Disney Plus. It is absolutely poisoned. I think the streaming service, in my opinion. Now, I've got it. I think it's better to have the service so you can watch the things you like to watch, and get them to see the streaming numbers for Ahsoka, Kenobi, which I've seen now 5 times, the Book of Boba Fett, Clone Wars, the original trilogy, the prequels. Get them to see what the numbers are for that stuff compared to the Trashlight and to Andor. Now, we're getting a last season of Andor. It's going to be 12 episodes each year between the end of Andor and Rogue One will be 3 episodes. So that's 4 years within one season. And that's good. It's gone. What does this have ramifications elsewhere? Well, Chris Gore was misquoted by WDW Pro, and everybody, and Jeremy Griggs, who doesn't pay any attention to this stuff anymore because he's too cool to rule, about Kennedy wanting to retire, but wanting to leave with a win. That's not what he said. He said she wants to retire. She'd like to leave with a win. That's completely different. Okay. And with the Acolyte, it's not going to happen. And I really think removing the Acolyte and seeing Kennedy's name off the president of Lucasfilm's list and removing the troublemakers, then just going crazy with firing would probably fix what's broken. She hasn't been seen She's probably in hiding because the Acolyte was just so bad. And, you know, the only people that we're talking about, the Acolyte, is Leslie Headland and a couple of the actors. I mean, Manny Jacinto showed up at D23, and I guess he's going to be at Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo next year, but who cares? Okay? Look, I'm going to go back to the first video I posted. You have to spend money to earn money. That's Jon Favreau, and he's right. The next thing you have to do is get rid of the things that drove fans away. Kathleen Kennedy, the story group, the sequels, and The Acolyte and Andor. Because no one will watch Andor either. Okay. And, you know, I would probably leave Andor up just because there are people that I respect that liked it. And I just look at them like, you've lost your fucking mind, but whatever. I really hate that show. I fucking hate it. I hate it as much as I hate Acolyte. Okay. But that's how you do it. Remove the problem and the giant ball of pus that Kennedy created and let the patient get healthy. You know? So, do I think the Acolyte eventually will be removed? Yeah. I don't know when. I don't know how. I think when Iger finally gets a replacement, I think they will remove it. If he doesn't, and I think it has something to do with losing tax incentives to film in England and their government, which has turned into fucking Stalinist Russia and Nazi Germany. Well, more like Nazi Germany because it's corporatist. Attacking, you know, a company for trying to fix a problem that the government basically colluded with a rogue element within the company to create. All right? Anyway, I gotta go. This is a long one. I'm sorry, but that is the way it is. I'll see you guys around the galaxy.